Hi guys, my name is Kaustubh Mukashi and I'm working in IT industry since last 7 years, primarily as a Java developer, and I work on most of cloud-based and big data technologies. Today we are going to discuss about most widely deployed cryptographic protocol to provide a security over internet communication, SSL. SSL stands for Secure Socket Layer. So let's quickly go through agenda. Before discussing SSL, there are some prerequisites that we are going to discuss: hashing, encryption, digital certificates, certificate authority (CA), digital signature, and at last we'll see how SSL works. So let's start. So let's discuss about hashing. By definition, hashing is a process of converting arbitrary size data to fixed size value, which is called as hash value, and algorithms that are used for hashing are called hashing algorithms. Hashing is a one-way function, that means we cannot convert hash back to its original data. Now you will ask me, what is the use of hash value? Hash value is used to verify authenticity of a data, and for that, algorithm used to generate hash value must be collision resistant. So what are collision resistant hashing algorithms? To answer that, there are some hashing algorithms which generates unique hash for each input data. That means there is one-to-one mapping between input data and hash generated out of that input data. Such algorithms are called collision-resistant hashing algorithms and are recommended for checking integrity of data. If there is slightly change in input data, then it is going to change hash value for it, which is helpful to check integrity of data. For example, in a data transmission, if hash value of a data before transmission does not matches with hash value of a data after it is being transmitted, then there is tampering. There are some hashing algorithms which produces same hash value for different inputs. Then those hashing algorithms are not recommended as those are not collision resistant. In 2020, recommended hashing algorithms are SHA-256, SHA-3. Here is a diagram depicting hashing, where we are passing input data to hash function to convert it into fixed size message digest. Algorithm that we use here is SHA-256. SHA stands for Secure Hash Algorithm, and for the input string provided, we can see the fixed size output generated by it. If we slightly change input data over here, it's going to result in different hash output. So that's all about hashing. Let's discuss about encryption. By definition, it's a process of encoding information which converts original representation of information known as a plain text into alternate form known as ciphertext. So to simplify here, it converts information which humans can easily recognize into format which is hard to recognize and understand. Unlike hashing, in encryption, we can convert back ciphertext to its original text, its original data. In a process of converting plain text to ciphertext and again back to plain text from ciphertext, we need something called as keys: encryption key and decryption key. Encryption key is one which is used to convert plain text to ciphertext, and decryption key is one which is used to convert ciphertext again back to plain text. Based on a key's use, encryption is categorized into two types: symmetric encryption and asymmetric encryption. Symmetric encryption is a one in which key used for encryption is used for decryption. That means in a symmetric encryption, encryption key is same as decryption key. However, in asymmetric encryption is a one which involves key pair, two different keys. If we are using one of the key in a key pair for encryption, then for decryption we cannot use the same key. Alternate key in a key pair is required for decryption. Here is a diagram of symmetric encryption where we use key XYZ to convert plain text to ciphertext and same key again to convert ciphertext back to plain text. So here our encryption key is same as decryption key. That's why we call it symmetric encryption. Here is a diagram of asymmetric encryption where we are using key pair, key PQR and key ABC. If we use key PQR for encryption, then we need key ABC for decryption, and vice versa. So if one of the key in a key pair is used for encryption, then alternate key in key pair is required for decryption. That's the reason we call it as asymmetric encryption. So that's all about encryption. So let's discuss about SSL certificate. What is SSL? SSL stands for Secure Socket Layer. It's a widely deployed cryptographic protocol which governs secure communication over internet. Certificate in general is a document which certifies you what you claims to be. Then what is SSL certificate? SSL certificate is a certificate which affirms your identity over SSL protocol. SSL certificate consists of two parts, data part and signature part, as shown in diagram. Data part holds information about certificate owner, whom certificate is issued, issuer of a certificate, validity of a certificate, and certain other information. Signature part holds a signature which makes certificate genuine. We are going to cover this in one of our next slides. Let's quickly look at data part, starting with version. A version holds information about certificate version. Serial number. Serial number uniquely identifies certificate. Issuer. Issuer is the authority which signed the certificate. Subject is the one whom certificate is issued. Validity. Validity holds information about certificate validity. Subject's public key. We will discuss this when we will discuss how SSL works. X509 extensions, SAN, CRL, OCSP. SAN stands for Subject Alternate Name. It allows multiple domain to be protected by a single certificate. CRL. CRL stands for Certificate Revocation List. It contains URL which holds information about list of revoked certificate. OCSP stands for Open Certificate Status Protocol. It contains URL to check status of certificate. So that's all about SSL certificate. Next, we are going to discuss about certificate authority. Let's discuss about certificate authority. Certificate without any stamp or signature is just a document holding information. It becomes genuine when someone having authoritative figure puts a stamp on it. It's same as our degree certificate. If you don't have stamp on it from any university, then that degree certificate is of no use. Here, university is the authoritative body who puts stamp on your degree certificate to make it genuine. In digital world, it's a certificate authority whom everyone trusts. We already know what is SSL certificate. In digital world, certificate authority is one who digitally signs SSL certificate to make it genuine. We will discuss how certificate authority digitally signs certificate, so don't worry about it for now. Certificate authority provides some services. Certificate authority holds information about certificates it signed and also provides services to verify certificate status. So here are some of the examples of certificate authorities: Komodo, Symantec, GoDaddy. So that's all about certificate authority. So let's discuss digital signature. As we already know, certificate has two parts, data part and signature part. Data part we already covered in our previous slide. Let's talk about signature part. We call it digital signature because it is digitally signed. So let's see how certificate authority digitally signs client certificate. Certificate authority makes a use of asymmetric encryption. As we already know, asymmetric encryption requires key pair. Certificate authority has its own key pair. One of the key in key pair is private key, which certificate authority keeps confidential and does not share it with anybody. And another key in a key pair, which is public key. Certificate authority shares this key publicly. as a part of its root certificate. To digitally sign certificate of a client, certificate authority has to generate digital signature for that certificate. To generate digital signature, certificate authority generates hash of data part of client's certificate, and then certificate authority uses its own private key to encrypt that hash. Once certificate authority generates a digital signature, it attaches this digital signature to client certificate to digitally sign it. We will see how this digital signature proves authenticity of a website in next slide. So that's all about digital signature, and next we will see how SSL works. Here is high level overview of how SSL works. Step 1, certificate authority distributes its root certificate to all browser vendors. So what is root certificate? Root certificate of certificate authority is its own certificate which holds public key of certificate authority. As we already know, certificate authority has its own key pair, out of which private key it keeps confidential and public key it distributes publicly via its root certificate. Step 2. Here browser vendor includes root certificate from certificate authority to browser applications trust store. In step 3, here web server is the entity which hosts website, and owner of that website sends request to certificate authority to sign its certificate. In step 4, certificate authority uses its own private key to sign certificate. We already discussed how certificate authority signs client certificate. Once certificate authority signs certificate, it gives back this signed certificate to website's owner. Website's owner then configures this signed certificate in a web server. In step 5, when user visits website hosted on a web server using a web browser, web server respond back with its signed SSL certificate. When web browser receives SSL certificate from web server, it checks which certificate authority has signed this SSL certificate. It then looks for root certificate of that certificate authority in its trust store. If it finds root certificate, it then uses public key from root certificate to decrypt digital signature of SSL certificate. As we already aware, digital signature is encrypted hash of certificate's data part, where a private key of certificate authority is used for encryption, and only way to decrypt it is using certificate authority's public key. Once browser decrypts digital signature and gets hash, it then itself calculates hash for data part of SSL certificate. If both hash matches, calculated one and decrypted one, then certificate is valid and website can be trusted for further communication. If either root certificate is not found or hashes does not match, then site cannot be trusted. If hashes does not match, it means certificate is tampered. If root certificate is not found, it means certificate is not signed by trusted authority. Thanks for watching. There are a lot more other things still to cover, like actual steps involved in SSL handshake, scenarios such as what if someone else signed certificate is configured to web server, and certain other. I will cover those in my next video. If you have any questions, please comment.